So today's video, we're going to be talking about, does your homeowner's insurance cover damage that comes from rain? Now, there's a lot of mistakes. This is a very common issue and mistakes that people make when dealing with rain damage. It happens all the time, especially here in Florida, where we get some very torrential downpours and tropical storms. So pay attention to this video. It's pretty important. So let me introduce myself. If you're not familiar with my videos or me, my name's Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. Here's my contact information. So this video is going to help guide you to prepare you for the time when you're having a roof leak or damage from water that came from your roof or through soffits or other means. Because there's a lot of mistakes people make when they start talking about rain. We're going to go through this stuff. It's an important video. And so now, if there's a bad storm, get a lot of rain, and you have leaks, you're prepared to know what to say, what to do, and how to approach it. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about what's covered, because obviously it doesn't matter what the claim is. If it's not covered, it has very little value in you calling, trying to fight for your claim. So rain itself is not a covered peril. Okay? A covered peril in normal homeowners policies are items such as wind, lightning, hail, sudden accidental break to your pipe. So when wind-driven rain comes into your home, that would be covered. Now, whether it's through the roof, through soffits, through windows. Now, if rain enters the home from the roof, and then your water that is then intruded into the home stains your ceilings, creates damage to the walls, so it's water intrusion, okay? That is probably covered. Ironically, you may end up with a situation, as I put down here, that you might not have coverage for the roof, but your interior would be covered from the water intrusion / rain. So, got to really be careful on what you say when it comes to this. We're going to be going through more information on this, but got to be careful how you label everything or what you say when you call the claim in. All right, so one factor that comes into play that you really have to know about when it comes to your policy is this loss, is this storm with or without wind? Because remember, wind is a covered peril. All right, rain is not a covered peril. So normally what we like to see is that a storm with rain has significant winds, gusts 50 miles per hour or so, or greater, obviously. But it's going to make it a lot harder, very difficult. If you have little to no wind, then that would be 40 miles per hour or less. So if you have, we're going to go through a couple examples, so I don't want to spoil anything now. But remember, the wind, 50 or more, good. 40 or less, it's not going to be good. It's going to be difficult. Don't forget to like this video, share it, comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. So it's common in Florida, sometimes we'll get 24 hours, 48 hours, 3 days straight rain. A few days later, you notice some water stains on the ceiling, but you don't really realize or see any type of roof damage. Everything looks okay. So would this be covered by insurance? So let's say you did have some roof damage. Okay, let's take this. We're going to separate this to A and B. Okay, no roof damage. Would the interior be covered by your insurance company. It's 50-50. Let me tell you the reasons why. Some policies do not cover unless there's, say, a hole in the roof. Perfect example is Citizens. You got to have some type of storm created opening. Okay? And you could say, well, yeah, because there's a bunch of rain. And so it created opening. Remember, rain is not a covered peril. But sometimes they will cover the interior. Again, depends on your insurance company, depends on your policy, depends on where you live. All right, so let's take the same example. Let's say yes to roof damage. Okay, but let's just say it's minor, maybe needs repaired, and you still have the damages inside. Okay, would this be covered? This depends again. But wait, the roof is damaged. We're going to go through, as we just did, we just talked about the wind. So if the wind isn't a factor, 50 miles per hour plus, both of these scenarios, and especially where the roof is damaged, will be incredibly difficult. I shouldn't say incredibly difficult, but it'll be more difficult. So you've got to tie in the wind. But again, they still might cover the water intrusion. Okay, here's another example. Storm comes into your area. You have 58 mile per hour gusts of winds from this storm, which I'm calling tropical. We have tropical storms in Florida. Well, listen, it could be we have a hailstorm come through or a bad rainstorm with some winds in the Midwest, Oklahoma, Texas. So damage your roof, leak enters the home. Is this covered by insurance? Yeah. You know, we go back to the wind. The wind's going to make it easier in this scenario. I mean, the insurance companies, especially if you're in Florida, they're always going to fight it. They're never going to roll over and die and let you have an easy way. But yeah, this one's pretty good. I like this one. So, third example. Same thing, rained off and on last couple of days. Sometimes hard, sometimes just a light drizzle, but pretty consistent. Maybe half, 12 of the 24 hours it rained, 15 for the last couple of days. You don't have any damage inside your home, but your roof is damaged. Okay? Maybe you notice that soffits, maybe you notice some tiles, maybe you notice other things that indicated, maybe you had, let's just put it this way, a leak in the garage. All right, let's just say small leak in the garage. Or you check up in the attic. I mean, there's variety, but overall, the integrity of the inner part of your home, living room, dining room, kitchen, bedrooms, nothing, no issues. So would this be covered by insurance? Again, you know, it's going to depend on what's the wind. Okay? Depending where you live, in Florida, it's going to be increasingly difficult. I will probably say in Florida, this example would probably be no. Because the laws are right now that was recently passed, they are not favorable to homeowners. If you're in another state, you might have a pretty good opportunity. Okay? Again, you could take a look at some higher winds and make a conclusion and do some research as far as maybe even newspaper articles to see how bad the storm was to kind of support your claim. Before we go into conclusion, let me talk about one thing real quick, and that's weather data. We've been talking about this wind. So there's some general public websites you can kind of pull stuff up, but we use, and also sometimes the attorneys I work with, we use more precise micro views of weather. So we can get very specific down to a block, a zip code, a couple blocks, a quadrant, various different things that we need. Because what we've experienced here in Florida is that you can have one block, and we've seen this in a hurricane, one block with a little bit of damage, the next block over is completely ravaged as if it was a tornado. So I do believe they've talked about this. There are micro wind events within a large wind event to where you can get much larger, stronger, more forceful winds that just doesn't show in a regular everyday public database. So you may see winds and it says 40 miles an hour only. But there might be some reports and people have damage where there's over 70 miles per hour. So those public databases for weather is not always consistent. So we have an opportunity, I do, to get more detailed weather data. But let's go to conclusions. So depending on your policy, damage from rain inside your home could be covered, but you could be left with the possibility that your roof isn't covered, right? And then finally, the best scenario, when you have the rain and the wind combination, okay, would entail your roof if it's damaged and any interior damages to be covered. So this is the best scenario, okay? We've already covered a couple of the examples, so I think hopefully now you guys have a pretty good feel, educated, and you can be guided now as to exactly how this works from an insurance company point of view. So I want to thank you for watching this video. My name is Mike Keeler, licensed public adjuster in Florida. If you have any questions or need help with a claim, that's how you can contact me. I'm always available. Send me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'm readily available. Any and all my clients know that I am very responsive and try to get back to them as soon as possible. So again, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something.